So it's official, it's happened. I called this 2 weeks ago. Trump was facing a $350 million fine from this New York judge and attorney general who ran completely being anti-Trump. And now he's being ordered to pay $350 million for overinflating his net worth and real estate assets. So this following video that I posted a few weeks ago didn't get a lot of views at the time, but now it's super relevant and gives you the full rundown of why Trump is facing this fine and why it's total hypocrisy from the deep state. They are coming after Trump. This is crazy. So just gets hit with this $83 million lawsuit. Now, this one totally going under the radar. He's potentially facing a $370 million fine by the New York Attorney General, who campaigned solely on indicting Trump on fraud. So if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, here's what this New York Attorney General is calling for. She wants a $370 million fine and wants a lifetime ban against Trump in New York real estate. So this case revolves around financial statements that Trump submitted to banks as part of a low interest agreement he secured several years before he was president. So I guess his loan agreements required him to show a net worth of at least $2.5 billion, according to the Attorney General. And she alleges that he made sure that his statements never went below the threshold and exaggerated the true value of his buildings, his real estate, and his golf courses. But Trump goes on to say that he relied on his accountants to properly appraise the value of these things, and that the bank that was lending him the money never raised any concerns or issues and still has not to this day. The Attorney General is claiming that Trump owes $168 million of interest saved through the fraud, alleged fraud, $152 million on the sale of the old Post building in Washington, D.C., $60 million through the transfer of the Ferry Point golf course contract, and $2.5 from severance agreements. Now, the judge of this case has said some interesting things in the past. His name is James Engeron, and he's deciding this case without a jury, and Trump's lawyer says there's not been a single witness called to the case. Check out this video from the judge, what he said in 2015 when it comes to juries.
Juries get it wrong a lot. That's my own opinion. But I've had situations where, like, oh my heaven's sake, how could they have thought that? Well, I have a tool that I can deal with that. It's called judgment notwithstanding the verdict. I can say there is no possible way that a reasonable jury would have reached that conclusion.
A bit concerning. In addition to not having a jury, Trump's lawyer says there has not been a single witness called to this case. But the star witness of the case was supposed to be Michael Cohen, Trump's former fixer, who set this whole thing into motion in 2019 when he brought this whole issue up, and then James sunk her teeth into it or campaigned on it, and now she's trying to, make this case against Trump. But keep in mind, Cohen has been caught lying under oath several times, and under cross-examination from the Trump team, he said that he was never directed to inflate the numbers. So not very strong for a star witness. Don't get me wrong, there were some things in here where Trump's team said that one of his buildings was 300,000 square feet and it was actually 10,000 square feet, and they admitted that was a mistake on their end. And I would definitely not be surprised if there was a degree of this that was true. But one thing, keep in mind, that saying that Warren Buffett said, if a police officer follows somebody across the entire country, you're bound to pull them over for something. What bothers me is that, so here on one hand, you have this guy gets into office, has money, uses his own money to get elected, and then when he leaves office, they're viciously trying to take his net worth away from him. Check this out. So Bill Clinton, when he first entered office in 1993, his net worth was around $1.2 million. And, that's accounting for things like a pension, real estate, all total assets around $1.3 million. So that's not, that's like a average 50-year-old amount of money if you've been putting money away towards a pension and own your house, yada, yada. But in the time that he's been out of office, Bill and Hillary have earned around $240 million from speeches alone, over 700 speeches where they earn around $200,000 to $400,000 per speech. And Bill earned around $40 million from 2 books that he wrote. Same thing with Obama. Obama enters the White House with a net worth of $1.3 million. Same thing. Real estate, the house he owns, pension, all assets together, 1.3. Today, he's worth around $70 million, and according to a report from American University, he could make as much as $240 million in his post-White House career through, again, speeches, book deals. Biden, just in the 4 years between being vice president and president, He earned $17 million from speeches and book deals. So this has been something that has piqued my interest for a long time. This whole former president, book deal, speeches, getting paid way over market value for that, and I mean, not saying with any type of 100% conviction there's something going on there, but I wonder what they would find if they looked into these things with the same veracity as they're looking into Trump's life right now, because there's just something that seems off about somebody going into office, already having made their money, leaving office, and the powers that be trying to rip that money away from them, rather than somebody who goes into office without money, maybe did some questionable things where they did things that benefit people, even the people who helped them get elected. Now, on the back end, there's these two very difficult to track things as far as giving speeches at colleges, giving speeches at corporations. I mean, how easy would it hypothetically be to launder money that way? Oh, hey, Biden just wrote a shitty new book. Let's use money from XYZ fund to just buy 10,000 pallets of it, and kabing, kaboom, 10 million for him. I don't imagine that would be a difficult thing to do. I have no idea if that's the case, but I'm deeply interested as to what would be found if anybody out there looked into these instances of generating wealth as they did for Trump. Definitely not saying it's impossible that Trump inflated the value of his stuff. Like, maybe it is, who knows? But it's extremely inconsistent with how former presidents are treated after their presidency. And more than anything, it says to me that they're trying everything possible to ruin him, to stop him from having the means to run for office. This trial, the appeal, it's going to take more than a year if this goes to an appeal. So the whole election thing will shake out by the time this is done. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily worried for his well-being. I think that this thing will just drag out as most legal things do. But the real punishment is the wear and tear on his, sanity, on his quality of life. Like they say, the real punishment of things like this is the process, undergoing the process itself. The bureaucracy, going to court every so often, talking to your lawyers, paying your lawyers. Respect the hell out of his energy. He's fighting multiple court cases, running for president, still running his businesses to a degree. I salute you. And message of the day. Let's take a look into who's buying all these books from former presidents and who's paying for all these $400,000 speeches. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you got something out of this. God bless.